Welcome to the first session of the Marketing Dojo with me, Mark Walsh, hosted by the much more capable Yolanda. And we have Aussie Steve, some of you may know from the conference, these two, lurking in the background should my Wi-Fi suddenly kick off because it's Mexico. Aussie Steve is capable to take over. So we have a whole crew looking after you. Some of you are here watching live, some of you are watching it streamed. It's really nice. Everyone super welcome. Let's take a few breaths together. So breathing in and out. Breathing in all the good stuff you're going to receive. Breathing out all the bullshit. Yeah, maybe having a look at everyone here that has maybe some shared values, this shared interest, learning about marketing from an ethical point of view. Awesome. Okay, so this is the first of our series of 5 45-minute sessions this week. My job is to kick the asses of everyone in the alternative world, particularly yoga, coaching, martial arts, all of that around marketing. What is on offer today primarily is a reframe of what marketing is, a different way of thinking about marketing. So first thing I want you to notice is what happens in your body when I say the word marketing. What do you do when you say it out loud? So everyone watching this, I can't see. Say it out loud in your first language. Say marketing. Say sales. Or say money in your first language. Okay, I'm looking at the comments. People say recoil, vomit. That's extreme. Tightening. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is you are normal and I was exactly like you, okay? Now I think about marketing, I get excited, I get happy, I get expansive, I get a feeling of generosity and playfulness in my body. And that shift has taken me about 10 years. The good news is I can definitely give you that shift in a week, at least to begin that shift. Definitely can. How do I know that? Because for the last, I'd say about 10 years, I've been helping students make that shift. So why do I want to help students make that shift? Well, it's very simple. I don't want you to be useless. Okay. So I am a leader in the community of embodiment. I love this community. I'm part of this community. And what I noticed is most people in this community are horrible at sales and marketing. Horrible. Who does that apply to? Just give me a wave. Okay, who's just shit at it? It's okay to admit it. And then who's maybe not shit, but they could be better. So I would include myself in that. Like, okay, great. So this, you've got some ability, but you can say either group is you're going to benefit from this. Yeah. Okay, either group. So a few warnings. Some of you have not been Walshed before. Who's an experienced person who's used to being Walshed? What do I need to warn them of, David? Okay, Jam. So I probably will swear. I probably will go very fast. So if English isn't your first language, that's not your fault. You can always watch the recording. It's okay. It's going to go pretty quick. I'm going to make a lot of jokes. We're going to have a lot of fun. This is non-negotiable. So if you don't like jokes and swearing, yeah, just tune out now. Just go away. Like you're in the wrong place. Okay. You know, if you go to see Lucy pole dancing, that's what you will see. She will be pole dancing. If you go see me here teaching, that's the style you get. It's not for everyone. And that, by the way, is good marketing. It's good marketing to tell people if they're not your tribe, if they're not the cup of tea that they want to drink. So if you don't like that spicy kind of tea, this is the wrong place. The other thing I'd say, joking aside, is that talking about this topic can be quite triggering. Actually, you've already felt that in your body. So do look after yourselves. Feel free to move, to stand up, to stretch, to breathe. And, you know, I'd say there's no shame if you find this topic difficult. There's no shame. If I think of my own childhood, for example, I wasn't educated about money or marketing. It wasn't something I was taught about. If anything, I was taught implicitly that it was taboo. Right? I was taught implicitly, for example, I have a distinct memory of a sports car going through the little village that I came from. I grew up fairly poor in a sort of immigrant family, not you know, with loads of money, and this sports car came through our village, which was unusual because it was a pretty poor village. And my mum sort of turned her nose up and tutted in a very British way. You know how to tut? This is a very English thing. That my family are Irish. You do this, you go, okay, that's a tut. It's a mild sign of disapproval. Okay. And I think my dad said something like, I bet he's got a small penis. Okay. So the implicit message was anyone with money is a bad person that should be tutted at and made fun of. We had no idea who was in that sports car. Personally, by the way, I don't want a sports car. That's not my aim. I'd probably just crash and die. Okay. What I do want, though, with money is the freedom I have now. The freedom to live in Mexico for a while, the freedom to go on any yoga retreat I want, the freedom to keep doing what I love, right? If it's not sustainable financially, I can't keep doing embodiment. God forbid I'd have to get a proper job. That's my biggest fear at this point. I don't think I'm capable of it anymore. Also, if I want to be generous, I need to be able to give from a place of generosity. I don't know about you, but if I'm worried about money, which I haven't been in years, by the way, if I'm worried about money, and that to me is wealth, to not worry about money. Does that make sense to you? I can be creative when I'm not worried about money. I can be looking at my spiritual development. I can be giving. I can be playing. I can be looking at ways to expand what I do and the next level of what I do and to grow and to learn and not be thinking, shit, am I going to be able to pay the rent? Yeah. Actually, I haven't been worried about money since I got married about 5 years ago. And my wife says that's entirely her, she's entirely responsible. She's lucky. So that is possible that I don't know anything about marketing. I'm just lucky and it's my wife's responsibility. So let's all thank Daria Walsh for making me lucky. However, luck is the currency of fools. Okay. I would say equally hope is the currency of fools. So who runs their business based on luck and hope? I would say this is probably not the good basis for a business, okay? Actually, let me get a sense of you guys. Give me a wave if you're a yoga teacher. Okay, a movement teacher of some other kind, movement teachers. Okay, great. Coaches, facilitators. You can be in multiple categories. You probably have 10 jobs. Therapists, do we have any therapists here? Okay, these 10, yeah, okay, great. Body workers, anyone do sort of hands-on stuff? Okay, great. Dolphin trainers, unicorn trainers. Okay, good. All right, one of those. Lucy, pole dancers, a few others. Feel free to put in the chat the kind of like what your jobs are. It helps me sort of. I kind of know who the tribe is by now. Someone said I'm not allowed to say tribe because it's cultural appropriation, but we have tribes in Ireland too. So fuck you. I'm saying tribe. Okay. So I know that we have people that do improv, that do acting, lots and lots of therapists and trainers and people. So you're going to apply this knowledge differently, but I'm used to working with you as a group. Okay. My own life experience was that I started a business just because I love embodiment. That was 15 years ago. First thing to notice, I'm still here. This is my first qualification. Okay, I'm still here. All right. The other thing is at the beginning, I knew nothing about business. I was horrible at business, both internally, the embodiment, the psychology, and the skills. Yeah. So there's two, we call this the inner and the outer game. So I had to transform that inner image that all business people were bad and marketing was awful and, you know, money was bad and all that. But I also had to learn a skill set, to learn some marketing skill set. Okay. Mostly in this free course this week, we're mostly doing the part around the inner side, and the paid course, which you can buy if you want, we'll do more on the inner, some embodiment stuff. And there's a whole bunch on the sort of outer skills as well. You need both really. However, because I wanted to just give the most useful thing, this week you can definitely start to get that reframe of what marketing is. You can utterly shift that in 1 week. And, you know, one of my students said to me, Mark, what I learned about marketing from you was to do some, right? Now, why, now that you laugh, right? But why hadn't he done some? He knew that he wanted to continue being, let's say he was a yoga teacher. He knew that that was a good thing. He knew that it was his life's calling and he wanted to keep doing it, yet he wasn't doing marketing. Yeah. Why not? Why was he not doing marketing? Put in the chat. Why do you think? We're going to smash this reason, by the way. In the next 20 minutes, we're going to smash this reason. Okay. Fear. Yes. Fear of what? Shame. A lot of people said fear. It's always fear that stops us doing things. Shame, doubt. Fear, shame, doubt, all of those things, but of not being an asshole. Okay. So if you associate marketing with something only bad people do, that's a bad activity, why would you do it? You're not evil, right? So the first thing we need to ask is there a way of doing marketing that isn't evil? Because if you think of it as just, okay, if I say marketing, what are the first words that come to mind? Just chuck them in the chat. First words that come to mind. Pushy, dull. Keep going, keep going. Shallow, sleazy, predatory, pushy, manipulative, Gordon Gecko, rip-off, false, predator. Okay, so if vomit, so if that's your association with marketing, why would you do any? You're not horrible. Like, I can say many things about the Embodiment Tribe, but I tell you what, I like you guys. You're not horrible. Like, one reason I choose to do this work is it puts me in contact with cool people like Yolanda and Steve, who I'd probably hang out with at the pub anyway, so I might as well work with them, right? So it's like, I know you guys aren't horrible, and you know you're not horrible, so of course you're not going to do something pushy, sleazy, manipulative. So let's make a distinction. I call this the difference between Jedi and Sith marketing, okay? So our aim today is we're going to make this distinction between Jedi and Sith, to reframe the whole idea and give you literally in the next 20 minutes a better idea of what it really is. I could talk more about my qualifications and where I come from and how I've worked everywhere in the world with everyone. And, you know, I've successfully started a style of yoga and a coaching school, blah, blah, blah. But you'll probably already know that. So let's get into the content here. Who knows? Do you know Star Wars? If you don't, this analogy is not going to make sense. Sith are the bad guys, okay? That's all you need to know. So Sith are like the evil magicians. That's how most people think of marketing, as a kind of evil magic, you know? And the Jedi, they're equally magic, but they're the good guys, okay? So they have these special ninja skills, these special Jedi skills, but one of them are force for good, one of them are force for evil. And we're going to look at, first of all the bad stuff you don't want to do. And then I'm going to give you a really good piece of news in about 5 minutes' time. Okay, so by the way, just as an aside, don't watch the new Star Wars, they're shit, but that's just a personal aside. Back to the metaphor at hand. Okay, which is, so what are all the things you don't want to do in marketing? Let's lay those out, put them down in the chat. If you're doing this watching, write them down, say them out loud. It's really important to say, let's get all these on the table first of all. Hard show, being annoying, lying, being manipulative. Yes, you're not liars. Spammy, exaggerated, ridiculous promises, manipulative. So really what it comes down to, right, is bullshit. Let me give you another, aside from liars and bullshit, let me give you another thing it can come down to: making people feel bad, right? I'm not interested in any marketing that makes people feel scared, for example. Right, that's how our entire media is run, by the way. I watched the BBC for 10 minutes the other night. Fucking hell, didn't want to leave the house afterwards, right? Social media, it's run on fear and anger. This is the way of the dark side of the force. Fear leads to suffering. Okay, so I don't want to generate that in my marketing for myself or for others. Yeah. Also, I don't want to lie. Authenticity is a big value. That's, by the way, why I get in so much trouble is because I love authenticity. That's why I get in so much trouble. Yeah, that's why I'm not for everyone. Okay, so authenticity is a big value for me, and just, you know, not manipulating, lying, hurting people. Okay, so that's the Sith stuff. Anything I've missed, Steve, on the Sith front that I normally talk about? Scarcity. No, it's because I'm bloody rude. That's true too. Anything else on the Sith front we've missed out?
Not really. I think just everything shit.
Everything shit. Okay, so here's the good news. Do you want some good news, people? Other than Yolanda's using my picture, which is weird. Here's the good news. You don't have to do any of that. Like, really, you do not have to do any of that shit to do marketing. This is the good news. Now, you can. There are people who do. That is clear. Every time I walk past an advert on the high street, I want to spit at it, right? You can do that, but here's the good news. You do not have to, right? The even better news, I would say, is if you're looking for long-term customer relationships, by the way, that's all marketing is, building those, it's actually advantageous to not do that. It's advantageous to not do that. Okay, assuming you're not just trying to smash and grab. Like I have students and clients here like Jan and David who I've seen, and Ranko and Lucy, that some of whom I've known for years and will probably keep knowing for years. Yeah, Richard, there's a few here. Okay, like that's for me is a really good sign that my marketing is not doing smash and grab. I'm not lying and manipulating, because Ranko's a cynical motherfucker. He's from Croatia. Okay, if I was lying to him, he would have figured it out by now, and he probably would have set his dog on me or something. Okay, so it's two dogs. Okay, thank you. So like Lucy's the same. She doesn't take any shit. She's not stupid. So if you're dealing with intelligent people and you want long-term relationships, not only do you not have to do that stuff we just talked about, you shouldn't. It's dumb to do that. Make sense? Okay, so what's the alternative? The alternative is the opposite of what we've just said. So this is the main content from today. If you listen to nothing, listen to this part. If you don't tune into anything else this week, the next 15 minutes is like, this is like the core gold. And I actually get quite emotional when I teach this. I hope you can see that. I actually get quite fired up about it. And the reason is I'm so tired of my community being disempowered. Like money, marketing, business is a form of power. Like I want people to have power who use it well. I want people to have power who have good values. I'm tired of, I've got friends who are like 30, 40 years experience in martial arts, yoga, therapy, and they're still broke and they're worrying about money. I don't want that for you. Does it make sense? So it's like, it's interesting. I kept teaching this as a sort of small bit at the end of all my other courses. So I teach embodied coaching and embodied yoga, because really I'm an embodiment teacher. And I just tag this on the end, and people would ask me, they'd say, hey, Mark, you seem to be relatively successful. And obviously since the conference, I don't really have to prove that ever again, right? People will go, you seem to be doing quite well. It's the 8th year of, EFC or whatever. Can you show us? And I'd be like, yeah, of course, I'll show you. Because it wasn't so long ago I didn't know how to do it. It was only 10 years ago I couldn't do this. And I go, yeah, sure, I'd show you. And I'd show them, and some of them would cry. Some of them would look massively relieved. And occasionally, several times, I got a standing ovation at the end of the training. And I'd be like, what the fuck? And then I realized why was because this is so rare to teach and it's so empowering to learn. Okay, so enough of the why. If marketing is not the Sith, what is the Jedi? Okay. What is an authentic, non-bullshit approach to this that we can take on? Yeah. Key thing I'm always orientating to as an embodiment person is, what's the feeling I'm creating? So I hope that when you see my marketing, you feel that it's fun, you feel that it's honest, you feel that it's touching, you feel it's amusing, you feel it's playful. That's how it feels to me and the team. I mean, we have days when we get stressed because obviously we've got, I've got to pay Steve's salary and Yolanda's salary and all the rest of it. But mostly we have a good time. Like most of our team meetings, for example, we're pretty playful. They're pretty fun. Steve comes up with a good idea. We swear and laugh about it. So the feeling I'm generating in myself, but also in the audience. Yeah, my friend George Cow, who's another ethical marketing guy, he pointed out to me that of all the marketing messages you put out, only 1 in 100 may become a customer. So you might as well make the other 99 people feel good, or else you're just having a negative impact on the world, right? So that's one thing I'm checking. People always ask me though, what is marketing? Let's start with that. It's really just letting people know how you can help them. That's it. Okay, so if you're like, but I don't know about marketing, and I have spiritual stuff, and I'm not. Shut the fuck up. Okay, so I just want to say this with the most love that I can. Okay, and I really mean this in a very, very kind way. If you find yourself saying, yeah, but what if, and I'm not, and I did, shut the fuck up. Okay, so I'm going to say it one more time. We all need to hear this from time to time. I'm saying it, Uncle Mark, giving love. Okay. It's just telling people how you can help them. So if you've got stuff around that, let it go. Okay, this is the job of what I'm going to help you with in this week, because a little bit of support helps, right? It's easy to say it, but building relationships that may or may not end in sales. That would be another definition. Okay, who here is good at building relationships? I'm not. Right, I'm sort of average at that, and I can do this. So if I can do it, so can you. Okay. It's playing, but also with the goal in mind. There's another sort of more vague definition. Who's playful here? Who's a playful person? Okay, let me ask you another thing. Who's empathic here? Who's a good listener? That's the heart of marketing. How can you tell people how you can help them if you don't listen to them? Make sense? Who's creative here? Who feels like a pretty creative person? Again, another key marketing skill. Notice I have not said who's pushy, who's sleazy, who's manipulative. You do not need those skills. If you have those skills, good for you, great. Okay, I can be pushy. That's just, a thing I can do. Okay, but that is not the heart of marketing. Yeah. So the analogy I sometimes give is the sandwich analogy. Okay, so this is the major reframe here. It's just telling people how you can help them. It's offering them something. So if you're hungry and I have a sandwich, marketing is me telling you I have a sandwich. That's it. Can I make it more simple? So this is marketing. Hey, are you hungry, Kim? Okay, I have something called a sandwich. I don't know if you have these in the Philippines or not. You probably do, but a sandwich is some bread with some other stuff in the middle, and you eat it, and then your tummy feels nice. Okay, do you have those in Australia? Okay, so this is a sandwich. I'm marketing now. That's literally, you're hungry. I have a fucking sandwich. I'm telling you, I have a sandwich. Could we go home now? Like it's that simple. It's really that simple. Kat says, I want a sandwich now. Okay, yeah, good sales technique, right? Stuff sandwiches sell themselves, right? Now, we could get more refined. We could say, listen, so is it a vegan sandwich? Because if it is, you can go and screw yourself. No. Is it on white bread with a big meat and some butter in? That's what I want, okay? So now we've got niching. We'll do niching tomorrow, okay? Niching is like, I sell white bread sandwiches full of meat. Who likes those kind of sandwiches? That's a proper sandwich. Okay, that's the sandwich you'll get at House Walsh. Okay, who wants like the German shitty black bread with some vegan tofu nonsense in? Who likes that? Put your weak, pale hands in the air. Okay, yeah, I'm vegan. Okay, sorry, vegans are easy to be mean to. Most vegans are nice, actually. It's just a few loud ones that aren't. So, yeah, vegans have the nicest restaurants as well. When I want to go somewhere calm, what I do is I eat a cheeseburger, then I go to a vegan restaurant. Okay, because they're just like the nicest restaurants. Okay, they're always calm. German bread. It was like German bread. Yeah. So I have to be careful I don't get in trouble with the German bread analogies. Even I know there's a line around German bread. Okay, so what kind of sandwich we want? That's also marketing, right? Telling people how you can meet their needs. This is the key thing. Are you a good fit? Right? So instead of persuading and pushing and manipulating, the process becomes a process of mutual discernment. You're checking what kind of sandwich I have. I'm checking what kind of sandwich you like. No one has to be pushy. I'm not like, eat the white bread. I don't have to do that. I just say, hey, do you like white bread? And you say, I love white bread. And I say, do you like meat? You say, no, I'm a vegan. So, oh, okay, never mind. Yeah. So it's just a process of checking the fit. The analogy I like to give for this is romance. Okay. Who here likes a bit of romance with a man, woman, dolphin, or other? Just give me, come on. Okay. Single people, swap numbers later. Nothing to do with me. Okay. So in romance, you have a date, right? And you might go for a coffee or a drink, whatever. You get to know each other and you decide if you like each other. Okay. That's the basic process. It's that simple. Getting to know each other. You build relationship. You don't move in on a first date. You don't get married on a first date. You spend time getting to know each other and you see what the chemistry is like and you see if you're a good fit. And sometimes that happens quickly. Sometimes that happens slowly, but normally it happens over a period of time. Yeah. So marketing is the romance of getting to know your customers. I have romanced David over the years, right? Maybe he saw, listened to one of my podcasts, and then he came to a one-day workshop, and eventually came to EFC, and now he's here. So it's like we've built a relationship, and that is a relationship of mutual benefit. So why do I have to stress about being an asshole if both people are being helped? I don't. He's here of his own free will. right? He chooses to keep in contact with me. That's marketing. And I help him keep in contact with me. That's my part of the marketing, right? So for example, I send out an email newsletter. He subscribes to that. Okay, so I'm just keeping the relationship going, keeping in connection. And then, yes, he's got an option to buy from me. So definition of marketing is we're building and maintaining relationships that may end in sales. Yeah, I like the word may because it doesn't mean he has to, doesn't mean he's a worthless human being if he never buys me ever again. Okay, there's a natural, like I want to be in contact with people who I like. Life's too short to have customers you don't like. Right, this is a free thing, right? So there's loads of people turning up. If we don't get on, great. You won't come back tomorrow. That's fine. Okay. But if you want to like come to one of my longer courses, like I'm interviewing you as well as you're interviewing me. Does that make sense? Because we both want there to be a fit. I want customers who love what I do. I want customers who love unicorn sex jokes, who think they're really great. Okay. Not customers who, offended from Portland. Yeah, we don't want offended from Portland. Okay, it's like there's probably someone out there who's brilliant for offended from Portland. It's just not me. I'm nothing against Portland. I've never been there. Probably a perfectly nice place. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. Do you remember jokes when you're allowed to make jokes in the past? Do you ever remember that? Whenever you remember that, wasn't it good? Wasn't it good? Okay, so let's look at what marketing is. So there's a few things here, yeah? So marketing from feeling, I've talked about, that's a check. That's a check that you're aligned with your values. Your body isn't stupid, right? Your body says, yes, this is good, or no, this is against my values. That's what the body's for in one way. Okay, it's just telling people how you can help them, or building relationships that may end in sales. It's just telling people you have a sandwich when you have a sandwich, yeah? You're not too spiritual, so get over it. Okay, like really, it doesn't. There's this weird idea in our culture that somehow like being poor or being unbusinesslike is somehow better. We could look at the roots of that, but it is not helpful. Okay, we've looked at persuasion, the romance. Oh, there's my Daria. Okay, we've looked at authenticity, that you can be authentic. I would go this far. Telling people how you can meet their needs is loving. Agree or disagree? If I said, if you were cold, Gabriella or Steph, and I said, hey, did you know there's blankets over there? Isn't that a nice thing to do? Right? Yeah. Steph's like, I'm fine, thank you. Okay. If you were single and I said, okay, what kind of guys do you like? I know a guy just for you. He's going to be brilliant. I'll set you up. Okay. So Steph's like, yeah, set me up. Okay. That's another course. By the way, you will accidentally get some really good advice for dating when you learn about marketing. That's an unfortunate side effect because there's so many crossovers. You'll find out about your niche and your target audience and all the rest of it. Anyway, so we laugh at that because it seems inappropriate, but it's only inappropriate if we think of marketing as bad and unpleasant. If we see marketing as relationship building and a process of trust and intimacy, it's another definition of marketing. How you build trust with people who might want to buy your product. That's the definition of marketing. How you build trust with people whose problems you can solve. That's another definition of marketing. Right? Like trust. Why are you here today? Because you trust me at least enough to give me 45 minutes of your time. And thank you. You trust me at least that much. Now, some of you are like, well, obviously I trust you. Arena's been on so many of my things that it's like, she's like, well, obviously I'm going to come. Some of you are just sort of testing, and that's okay, right? We're building trust. It's a free thing. That's why we have this freemium model. I really like it because I get to give and be generous, and it's something free. And then if you like it, you can buy the thing afterwards, and that's fine too. And if you can't or you don't want to, that's also okay. Yeah. So why I like this model. It enables there to be trust built without a huge risk. Like I'm not taking a huge risk to teach for 45 minutes, right? It's only 45 minutes out of my day. You're not taking a huge risk either. So it's like that coffee in a public place, If I said, right, the first date is in my dungeon, you'd be like, whoa. Lucy's smiling. Okay. But some of you would be like, that sounds like an awesome first date. No, generally that would not be a good first date. Yeah. So it's like the first date is in a coffee in a public place. Why? Because that's safe. It's easy for both people. It's no big deal. It's convenient. That's building trust. Okay. So that's what we're all about here. Building trust. That's a loving thing to do. So it's seeing marketing as a loving thing to do, to build close, useful relationships, mutually beneficial, win-win relationships. That, by the way, is why capitalism, despite its many flaws, is beautiful. It's because nobody has to put a gun to your head. David chose to be here. He chose to come on my courses of his own free will as an intelligent human being. He felt into his heart and he looked into his mind and he went, this is a good use of my time and money. Right? That's a beautiful thing. Yeah, that we can freely exchange time and money and services. Very cool thing. And we're lucky that we can do that. Most of human history, that was difficult. Now we can do it globally. We're so lucky, so lucky. So not only is marketing love, let me go a step further. Not marketing is evil. So this is really good news and really bad news. Okay. So this is really good news because you used to think marketing was evil about 30 minutes ago. Okay. But now you're realizing not only is marketing not evil, not marketing is evil. I'm sorry, Uncle Marcus just screwed you over. Okay. So now you need to learn marketing because you realize it's a moral good. Yeah, if you don't like the word moral, you could say it's an ethical imperative. You can say it aligns with your values. Now, the Jedi are magicians too. This is Jedi, not Sith. So think about it and tell me if I'm wrong. Really, if I'm wrong, tell me. Telling people you can meet their needs is a good thing, right? How is it if I said, I've got a sandwich, but I'm not going to tell you? If you were like, I'm really hungry, and I was like, oh, I keep the sandwich to myself. I will not tell them about my sandwich. Or I say, oh, Papa, I tell them about the sandwich, but it doesn't feel good, and it's not spiritual to tell them about the sandwich. It's kind of a dickhead move, right? But let me put this back to you. Who thinks what they do is beneficial? If you went to Ranko's aikido class or Lucy's pole class or whatever Gabrielle does, who thinks they do is a good thing for people? Not for everyone, but for a group of people, it's a good thing. Just put your hand up. If you don't, please stop what you're doing now. You have no integrity, right? Most of you, I think pretty much all of you said that what you do is a good thing. And what, of course it is. Like I go to yoga, I feel good. I feel healthier. I go dancing, I let go of my problems, It's like you're making the world a better place, even if it's just in a small way for a small number of people. Yeah. Or else you wouldn't do it. Right. And people wouldn't keep coming back to your yoga class. Even if you're not sure, your customers know it's a good thing because they're not stupid. They keep coming back. Right. And by the way, if you don't know why your customers come to your class, ask them. It's a really useful thing to do. Say, what do you get out of this therapy? What do you get out of this dance class? Whatever it is. Yeah. So if what you do is a good thing, to not make that available, not to push it or make people do it, to give them the option, it's kind of shitty. Is it not? Yeah? I mean, tell me if my logic is wrong. When I first worked this out, it really screwed with my head. When I first worked this out, I was like, but I thought business was, and now, oh shit. I'd like accidentally, through logic, just completely reversed my thinking on this. And what I found is this is the most powerful move. This is why I wanted to do this like class one. We're going to reinforce this every day this week because it takes a little bit to get in your head. Okay. But if you could make this shift today, that's most of the benefit of these free classes this week. Like that shift, because we've been conditioned, we've been lied to, we've had so much Sith association. It's natural that, it takes a little bit of, I have to sort of unbrainwash my students. Yeah. Sometimes it takes a week, sometimes it takes a year, but it never takes that long. It never takes that long. Some people get the change like right away. Some people, it takes about a year is about the longest I've seen it done. There's a small percentage of people that just can never make the shift because they're too invested in being broke, like on a sort of identity and spiritual level. Anyone know those people? You think of Christian tradition, Buddhist tradition. Yeah, so I'd say of my students, maybe 5% never make it. I feel quite sad about that. I can think of one in particular who I really love, but he just couldn't make the shift. Most people don't make the shift pretty quick. Okay, what have you just learned? I'd like everyone to write it down in your first language in the chat or on a piece of paper. What did you just learn? Use your first language or your natural English. There's a few more perspectives we're going to add tomorrow, but this is the beginning for today. Another way of looking at this is it's just life skills. It's just like learning to do the washing up or learning to tie your shoelaces. Like this is a very straightforward way of looking at marketing. It's like, look, it's just a life skill. Just learn it. It's no big deal. It's not your fault you don't know it. It is your responsibility now you're an adult. Right? Not a big deal. Just learn it. Like if I wanted to learn to drive a car in America, I'd have to learn to drive an automatic on the other side of the road. If I lived in America, I'd probably have to do that. Not a big deal. Yeah, the alignment here is to see how it feeds what you love. If you see marketing as giving your gift to the world, enabling you to keep doing and keep learning, enabling you to keep helping people, being sustainable. And this is a big one. I want everyone to get this. You all ready? It's a form of self-care. I think not learning marketing is a subtle form of self-abuse. I mean, it's there, right? The books are there, the podcast. You could do this for free. You don't even need to buy my product. You can do this for free. George Cow, Tad Hargrave, loads of great free resources out there I can point you to. Yeah. So it's a form of self-sabotage. And this is the sort of, in the paid course, this is some of the stuff we look at in a bit more detail, because there's patterns of self-sabotage and embodiment patterns and trauma patterns and a bunch of other stuff that kind of mean that people keep almost like self-harming in this way. Yeah, but at least today, I want you to stop celebrating it. People always say, oh yeah, I'm crap at marketing. They say it like they're proud of it. And it's like, why are you proud of doing something which hurts you and others? Don't be proud of that. Let go of that shit, okay? And this is some tough love. This is where I get emotional, because it's like, I get that it's tempting to sort of be one of the morally good but broke people. Yeah, that's a compensatory psychology. Nietzsche talked about that. Compensatory psychology. It's like, well, I might be broke, but I'm noble. It's like, no, you're rubbish. You're harming yourself, and you're keeping your gift from other people, and that is no longer acceptable. Anyone with me here? I hope you don't feel like I'm lecturing you, because it's like I'm reminding myself I've made this journey, but simultaneously it's like, I get it. I really get it. Pennies dropped. Okay. It's good to say this in a row. And we're going to look at a few frames today and tomorrow. You know, I just recap what we've done today, and then we'll have a few minutes for questions. So you can look at, you know, it's just a sandwich. We'll look at tomorrow about how it's a spiritual practice, and we'll look a bit more at some other, for how it's play, how it's a tantra. But we looked at, you know, the sandwich analogy, the fit analogy, and marketing as love. That's the basic takeaway from today that I've given you guys. I've put a few other things in there, but I hope that gives you a few basic takeaways. If you're watching this, you of course can go deeper into this stuff. We will this week. It'll be this time every day this week for 45 minutes. We're going to do a rerun on Saturday of event 2. And then obviously there's the course. So if you want to go much, much deeper into this stuff, look at the course. It's half price this week. That's one of the things we do to encourage people to buy. It's half price this week. If you want to get that, you can look on the page below, and you'll be emailed a link to it. If you can't afford it, I totally get it. No problem. You'll still get a lot of value out of this week. I still appreciate your time. I'm going to give you a lot of good stuff. And yeah, tomorrow we're going to look a bit more at these frames, and we're going to also look at your niching. So what kind of sandwiches specifically you offer and should be offering. Yeah. Oh, please tell your friends as well. So I would love everyone to hear about this for 2 reasons. One, it's a good thing, and I want the whole world to know. Secondly, I want some of you to buy my products so I get some money. So do tell your friends. That would be a great way of thanking me if you know you can't afford to buy the thing, or you don't want to buy the thing, but you think your friends would benefit. So if you have a friend that you think would find this awesome, I'm going to do some, you know, tomorrow would be a good day for them to join. Wednesday's possible. After that, it's a bit late. So do share the link that Yolanda's going to put in the chat, and tell your friends on your social media, blah, blah, blah. I think we're also doing a competition, right? That if anyone on social media tells their friends, if you can't afford it, then you get entered into a prize draw as well. So you might be able to get it for free. Cool. Questions? What do we have? 5 minutes. Boom. Do you have a mantra or affirmation that you love? Yeah, marketing is good. I love marketing. There we go. The key thing is to reprogram yourself, is just to remind yourself of those models, that you're doing a good thing, that I'm offering how to help people, I'm telling people how to meet their needs. Yeah, keep reminding yourself of that. You'll find one in your own language, I'm sure. Or you can just say to yourself, it's just a fucking sandwich. It's just a sandwich, guys. Don't get precious just because it's your yoga class. Don't get precious. It's just a sandwich. Self-sabotage comes from fear of failure. Yeah, lots of self-sabotage in the tips. The trick is to get used to failing, to fail often, to fail well, and to fail onwards. So failure becomes no big deal. Also, if you learn, you never fail. You always learn. You never really fail. Marketing with an M. No, it's not just about me. You do not need my personality to do this. Okay, I'm going to show you ways this week of marketing your style. Not everyone's a big shouty mouthy Mark. Chance to offend people. How gendered is it? I think it's more cultural. It's more like America and Canada on the West Coast and the East Coast. Not so much gendered. Will you cover where to market? Yeah, we'll cover where and how. That's something we'll look at a little bit more in the paid course on the methodology. We're mostly doing mindset stuff this week because that's the sort of quick bit. How to sell the sandwich and not give it away for free. Yes, so you really need to see the value of what you do, right? Once you've fed a few people with a sandwich and really seen how much they benefit from it and really got that emotionally, there's no guilt for selling it, right? So it's about really taking in how what you do benefits people. And then, you can choose to make it free or accessible, or do what I do, the freemium model. So some's free, some's not. That's a good balance for me to do it this way. Yeah. Products versus services, big one. We can come back to that. Ask me another day. What if tons and tons of people sell sandwiches? Niching tomorrow. No one sells your sandwich. Okay? No one sells your sandwich. That's the key. Like let's take Steve, for example. Steve has a very particular, I know lots and lots of people who do online hosting, but very few of them have Steve's combination of intelligence and good humor and experience and embodiment, right? So Steve and Yolanda, for example, yes, lots of people could be my tech hosts, but Steve's made himself, he's found a very specific niche that just makes sense that I pay him and not a random person. So nobody sells your sandwich. That's what we'll look at tomorrow. Listening to your body, what your body's telling you. If your sandwich is a shit sandwich, then you shouldn't be selling it. Have some integrity. Okay? Your sandwich is, does your audience like the sandwich? That's the true judge of the sandwich, not you. If people say, I love your yoga class, I keep coming back, I love it so much, that's who you should listen to, not the voice in your head, which is probably telling you lies. What happens if the audience is just hungry? What do you mean? If they have no money? Are we going with that analogy? So if your audience has no money, you either need to sell a lot of units. So you need to have, for example, an online thing, which is very cheap, or you need to get someone else to pay. So that's like the grants, government money, stuff like that. Okay. Or Robin Hood principle. So that's what I do in Russia. I do corporate work and I do work with the gay community. One pays for the other. So I have a sort of ecosystem that works for me, even if one of those groups is pretty much free. Make sense? There you have three basic solutions to my audience has no money. Scale, someone else pays, Robin Hood. God, it's like I've thought about this before. Good. Did I miss any questions? We've got time for one more. Yeah, those of you who are saying about giving it away for free, I would really look at the self-care stuff. So remember, business is a win-win. It has to be a win for you and for your customer, even if that customer is you're giving away, right? Like, why is this a win for me today, even though I'm not getting any money from it, right? Why is it a win? Because I enjoy it. It doesn't take a huge amount of time, and a percentage of you are going to buy the product that's on the linky thing below, I think, on the website. So it's a win for me, right? I'm not having a horrible time. It feels good. I'm having fun. My marketing should be fun. I want my marketing to be fun. I like my podcast. People are like, oh, you've made a lot of podcasts. That must be really hard work. I'm like, no, I only talk to nice people. I enjoy it. right? Like, it's marketing, but I enjoy it. Like, that's one of my absolutely essentials for me. Okay, let's take a few breaths together as we close. There's a lot there. Don't make any big decisions. Let it digest. We've eaten a lot of psycho-emotional sandwiches today. We'll be back again same time next week. Thank you for Steve and Yolanda for working in the background. Thank you to all our tech team. We've had a lot of learning, I would say, today. Be back again tomorrow. Do tell your friends. And if you want to buy the thing, you'll get lots more than we can possibly squeeze in these 45-minute sessions. Whew, good start. See you tomorrow. We'll talk about niching. Oh, let's do a mass unmute and say goodbye and thank you in our first languages. It's our normal end.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.
It's good to be with everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye now.
Hi.
Go away.
Ciao.
Go away.
Bye bye.
Flynn, I didn't see you there. Flynn, hello, Flynn. Looking good. I didn't see everyone there.